Look, just when you thought that LEM was the best patch that Stellaris ever received, 3.8 Gemini kicks in the door, drops a bunch of things people have been asking for ages, and then leaves without saying a word. Yes, that's right, I'm going to throw it right out there. This is going to be the best patch that Stellaris has ever received. This is the big one, and this is what I said during LEM as well, but allow me to dump a couple of terms in your lap. A new army builder system, massive changes to bombardment, improved sign ship automation, new capital designations, fleet manager updates, the sector editor is back, customizable UX allowing you to reorder the entire side menu, and notification filtering, and oh my god, it is glorious and I love everything about it. 8 different quality of life upgrades we've been asking for since the dawn of time. And if that's all the information that you needed, then feel free to move on to the next video, because we're going to go and break down what all these system updates will bring to the table. Now, first of all, the army builder. No, it is not a rework of how armies generally function. However, like many of you, I really hate them, and because building, it's a chore, and it doesn't really make all that much sense in general. So you go to a planet, you go to an army, and oh god, I'm building an army, and that army will then end up on this planet over here, and basically go hang out there. In the future, this is going to change, because there will be a new army builder that's going to remove all of those issues. With any station in any sector, there will be a new tab at the bottom of the screen, which will be the new army builder. And basically, they can be constructed at that place, at that station, as a rallying point within a sector. That means that when you build the army, the planets will then construct them and then move them to that location. You order them. It's like Army Amazon. It's great. No longer will you have to deal with individual stacks near planets. They'll all come to the place that you have defined. But it gets better. You can now control click to get even more armies to queue up. So instead of going to a planet like I do right now, and I order an army, I can't just get a whole stack of them. I can control click with the new version, and I will get like 10 hunter killer armies. Beautiful. I love everything about it. In addition to that, if you already have an army, let's say if we take a look here, if I have an army in this particular save file, I probably do. So let's say that I have an army over here, right? It's just hanging out, it's just doing its thing, etc., etc. There will be a new button that says rally all armies that are built to this army, which means that you will no longer have a situation where you are going to need to manually move all your armies to merge with your existing armies, etc. I cannot even begin to say how much of a quality of life feature this is. I feel like the sounds are a little bit low. Yeah, let's just do that. There we go. There we go. We actually have some sounds now. Oh, that's great. I love this. It's so good. Now, you may also sometimes want to build some armies on planets. So let's say that we do have a planet over here. Let's just go over towards this system. Find the planet. I believe it's called Main Facility. There it is. You can still build armies on planets directly, but you can have a new button that basically says, hey, you want to make sure that these armies never go into orbit? Because you can do that. Yeah, that's right. You can totally set those armies to go and be permanent defensive assault armies, because that's what they are. Glorious. I love everything about this. Managing armies is probably one of my biggest bugbears within the game, having to move them all around. It's not as good as, say, getting army modules on ships. In my personal opinion, armies could go the way of the dodo. I really don't care for them. They should work in a completely different system, but still, it's glorious, and I love everything about this. But then again, let's be honest, who needs armies when you have a bombardment? Yes, that's right, bombardments are going to change, because the updated planetary bombardment system will deal significantly more damage to planets. It will basically kill everything on the ground. Basically, people will get glassed en masse, buildings will receive massive damage. The overall ruination of the Earth below will be a lot easier, and I could do a whole video about that system as it will come out, But I will probably do so when the update lands, because my lord, is this going to be ridiculous. You can also now force planets to surrender with bombardment only. Yeah, so let's say that you are bombarding this planet. Let's say that you've killed off the entire garrison as well as the assault that is on the ground. Then there's a good chance that they will just surrender, because there's nothing for them to be defended by, which means that defensive armies on planets will become a lot more important. You can also set this in your policy and basically say, hey, yeah, I would like planets to be able to be conquered from space, please, because that's the thing. I love it. It's you can annihilate the defenders below, and the survivors will just surrender. You can basically crush your enemies. You can see them driven before you. You hear the lamentations of the Xenos, except in space, no one can hear you lamentate. Took me a while to write that one. So anyway, what are the changes? Well, why these changes? Well, all government buildings will now spawn armies by default. So basically, if you have this particular case is a primary nexus, but it can be like a empire capital building or something along those lines, it will automatically spawn armies based on the level of the building, which means that you will need more armies to take over a planet in general, which by itself may be a little bit more annoying, but it does add a little bit more value to, I think it's the unyielding tree? Not entirely sure. Yeah, defensive armies now produce 0.5 unity in addition. So unyielding becomes a little bit more interesting, because you'll just have a bunch of armies by default on the planet, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, do they generate naval cap? No, because that is a soldier job only. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about auto exploration. Remember auto exploration when it was added and people were really upset? It's like, oh no, why is auto exploration a thing? This is a construction ship. Here you go, that's a science ship. Why is auto exploration a thing, ASpec? I would like to be able to explore things all by myself. Well, you know, you could do that, or you could click the auto surveying button and just go on to your merry way. I personally felt in the past that this is not nearly as granular as it needed to be. Therefore, the developers have sought to improve things. Not because I asked them to, because they also felt the same way. Would you just want to survey and ignore anomalies because they waste time? Now you can. You can have the brand new automation settings. You can designate exactly what a science ship does. You don't want to hunt for special projects on the map? Just set the ship to do that. You don't want to assign a ship to a dig site? Don't worry, the ISS Jones is ready for some automated grave robbery. It's delicious. It's probably one of my favorites in the patch so far, and we're only like 3 or 4 features in. It's only gonna get better from here. I hope that you are in fact excited. Exploration, who cares, right? I got an empire to build. Which is why the new capital designations, finally, I swear to God, I've been waiting for capital designations for so long. Capitals do not have their own dedicated designation. What do I mean by designation? Well, if you have a world, you click on the little throw down here, and basically you can select what type of planet it is, and it will give you a bonus, say like tech drone output in this particular case. But there was never a special designation for capitals. You would just say you get more stability or you get more amenities, etc., etc. But with the Gemini update, this will change. Do you want to have an ecumenopolis for only alloy production? Yeah, you can do that, because the new designation will crack out those alloys with an amazing bonus of another 20% on top of what you already get. And then there's variants for consumer goods, trade value, and basic resources. Why you would want to have basic resources on your capital is a little bit beyond me, but still, it's really cool. No science capitals. I think you're going to need to be focusing on science rings in the meantime, because my lord, do they crank out the science. If I had the pops, which I don't, but I do have the ancient refinery, which is probably the best building in the game. Anyway, It's good. Yeah, you don't need the science anymore at this point anyway. You just have dedicated planets for that. But you need to spend those resources on something, right? Well, remember the fleet manager? The fleet manager? Yeah, the fleet manager. It's going to change. It's going to be a lot bigger. It's basically going to encompass the entire screen. Instead of only being able to see these 6 terrible little fleets down here, they will now be listed on the left side. You'll be able to see up to 12, and you can just copy them. There will be just a button to say, hey, this fleet over here, yeah, I want to copy it. Okay, cool. Let's give me 240 additional corvettes, please. Or 24 battleships. Do keep an eye on the naval capacity, though, because you will cripple your economy if you're not careful with those 25 BB assault flotillas. It's good. You can also swap out older designs, like on the fly, with just a button. It's truly exciting. I wish that the fleet manager got a little bit more love. But yeah, we'll see what's going on there over time. And now finally, we've come to the biggest, most important thing in this update. And that is the following. And I'm going to go ahead and tease you a little bit. Notice these sectors and everything? Well, the sector editor is back, and oh my lord, is it glorious. For those of you who are not aware, in the long, distant, murky past, you were able to basically go ahead and edit sectors on the fly. Right now, I have 2 of them, right? So I've got main facility and production unit. And basically, it was possible to move planets from sector to sector very, very easily. This was removed at some point. I don't know why. I wonder what Wiz was up to at the time, whether or not he smoked a little bit too much of that Swedish ganja, but it doesn't matter because it's back. It's amazing. You want to create a 1 system sector and then release them as a vassal? Yeah, you can do that. You want to make a sector that has only certain types of planets in it and basically only science ships, and then min-max your way to heaven by using a governor? Yeah, you can do that. You have no idea how happy it makes me that I can now have dedicated sectors that I don't necessarily need to mess around with anymore. Like, I've got this sector down here, Alpha Refuge, right? Like, this is a sector. But I could easily just turn this one place into a singular sector that is also a system, release it as a science vassal, and it will give me infinite resources. Oh, my lord, it's so good. It's so good. But wait, there's more. Yes, there's more. Remember this menu on the left side? I'll just unlock it for the sake of. Yeah, you will be able to edit this. You want to have context down here underneath ship design? Yeah, you can do that. You want to have the situation log at the top? Yeah, you can do that. You can't change the hotkeys. There's a big old reset button at the top, but you can definitely swap these around if you're really so inclined. I just always have it locked anyway, but because I don't really like the massive ass menu here. But yeah, you get the general idea. And now it's time for the very last one. You know how in the game sometimes you get these messages? It says, hey, my resources are full. Yes, I know the resources are full. It usually is by depicting it on the top. And wouldn't you want to be able to remove this this icon? Well, in the 2.8 update, you totally can. Yes, there will be a new option in the settings menu where you can basically say, I only want to see certain messages. You can now filter every single message in the game, and you never have to deal with them ever again. Turn off those leader level ups because who cares? The hyper lanes have been connected. It doesn't do anything, so please turn that off. You want to be true pompous purists and turn off anything involving the Xenos. Who cares about them, right? Just enjoy your game in silence because you never have to interact with them ever because you're pompous purists. It's glorious. I love everything about this patch. This is so good. Sure, it's not an update to some of the existing expansions or anything like that, but the quality of life is just, oh, it blows my friggin' mind. My tiny mind is put upside down, and it is glorious. Now, throughout this video, you've also seen a bunch of screenshots, and things have been blocked off. Now, this makes me think that something more is coming, something that developers don't want to unveil just yet, and they're doing a dev diary on Tuesday. Yeah, they're doing a dev diary on Tuesday, which is ridiculously fast, and that never happens. Is there a new expansion in the works? So close after first contact? Are we getting another species pack? Because it kind of, implies as such. Or is this something else? Let me know in the comments below. Also, which of these quality of life updates do you like the most? I'm personally a really big fan of the capital designations because it's going to make optimizing my worlds even better. And of course, the joy that is the new automation settings for science ships is just mwah, chef's kiss. Let me know below. And as always, the hype is so real for 3.8. It doesn't matter what else comes next. It's already one of the best patches they've ever planned for them, and in my personal opinion, it blows LEM, which previously was arguably the best patch ever, out of the water. I want to thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back on Tuesday with more details about what else is coming up for Stellaris. A lot of things, apparently. Otherwise, they wouldn't do a Death Diary on Tuesday. We'll see. Until next time, thank you to my patrons. Leave your comments down below and take good care of yourself. And as always, eat shutter.